not take the mother with the young.
Sorry
You
about
may
that.
take the young, but let the mother go, so you may prosper and enjoy a long life. Every new house you build must have a barrier around the edge of its flat rooftop. That way, you will not bring the guilt of bloodshed on your household if someone falls from the roof. Do not plant any crop between the rows of your vineyard. If you do, pardon me, if you do, you are forbidden to use either the grapes from the vineyard or the produce of the other crop. Do not plow with an ox and a donkey harnessed together. Do not wear clothing made of wool and linen woven together. You must put tassels on the four corners of your clothes. Suppose a man marries a woman and, after sleeping with her, changes his mind about her and falsely accuses her of having slept with another man. He might say, I discovered she was not a virgin when I married her. If the man does this, the woman's father and mother must bring the proof of her virginity to the leaders of the town. Her father must tell them, I gave my daughter to this man to be his wife, and now he has turned against her. He has accused her of shameful things, claiming that she was not a virgin when he married her. But here is the proof of my daughter's virginity. Then they must spread the cloth before the judges. The judges must then punish the man. They fine him 100 pieces of silver, for he falsely accused a virgin of Israel. The payment will be made to the woman's father. The woman will then remain the man's wife, and he may never divorce her. But suppose the man's accusations are true, and her virginity could not be proved. In such cases, the judges must take the girl to the door of her father's home, and the men of the town will stone her to death. She has committed a disgraceful crime in Israel by being promiscuous while living in her parents' home. Such evil must be cleansed from among you. If a man is discovered committing adultery, both he and the other man's wife must be killed. In this way, the evil will be cleansed from Israel. Suppose a man meets a young woman, a virgin, who's engaged to be married, and he has sexual intercourse with her. If this happens within a town, you must take both of them to the gates of the town and stone them to death. The woman is guilty because she did not scream for help. The man must die because he violated another man's wife. In this way, you will cleanse the land of evil. But if the man meets the engaged woman out in the country and he rapes her, then only the man should die. Do nothing to the young woman. She has committed no crime worthy of death. This case is similar to that of someone who attacks and murders a neighbor. Since the man raped her out in the country, it must be assumed that she screamed, but that there was no one to rescue her. If a man is caught in the act of raping a young woman who is not engaged, he must pay 50 pieces of silver to her father. Then he must marry the young woman because he violated her, and he will never be allowed to divorce her. A man must not have intercourse with his father's wife, for this would violate his father. End chapter.
Absolutely. That read pretty well for the most part. Uh, I'm I'm trying to record this so I can put it on YouTube. So I had a little bit of an instance. Verse 6, chapter 22, Deuteronomy. It says in the Sefer, if a bird's nest chance to be before you in a way in any tree or on the ground, whether they be young ones or eggs, and the dam sitting upon the young or upon the eggs, you shall not take the dam with the young, but you shall in any wise let the dam go, and take the young to you, that it may be well with you, and that you may prolong your days.
Okay, mostly similar, but clearly different words. Yeah.
All right.
I'll tell you something that I think is just a little odd. I don't know if odd is the right word. This thing where, you know, the difference is, I'm trying to find exactly where it was. I'm so sorry. Let me come back in a second.
Sounds good. And while she's working on that, to iterate, Deuteronomy chapter 22 is where we are in our Bible studies. And like I was trying, I got bumped off on the first round. But nonetheless, it's coffee time. It's on Zello. There's a group. Sometimes it's just me and Big Red. Sometimes it's just me. And sometimes there's other people who key up and read. We're pretty much a happy family who does Bible studies and works on the truth.
Well, I can't find what I had a question about, so I must have figured out the answer while we was finishing reading through. I don't know.
Well, it did have a way of doing that, putting it back around, and answering a lot of questions towards the end. So yeah, I do believe we see that, these are all the accounts on, women and men and, sexual relations. And I do believe it's a bit funny, when they're talking about the young of a bird right before they start talking about those things.
Well, and I guess, okay, maybe this is what it was, because I really don't understand this. I mean, if it's a rule, it's a rule, okay, but I'm trying to understand what the further information behind this might be. This part where you do not plant any crop between the rows of your vineyard. I mean, I've never seen a vineyard that had any crops anywhere throughout it, because I assumed it, wasn't good for the vines, for the grapevines, and, other plants leaching minerals from the soil. But this is like a rule. It's forbidden. Forbidden. You can't use them grapes then, or any of them other plants that would grow. What do you suppose? I mean, doesn't that seem like it must be more than just about grapes and carrots?
And it does give you a good notion of how we are supposed to not mingle our seeds either, as to where we shouldn't be doing it with vegetation. We definitely should not be doing it with ourselves. We should be watching, and I do believe there was a time when people would get married, they had to do a little blood test because people knew that we weren't supposed to mingle seeds in the event that we got mixed up with Nephilim bloodline. So, yeah.
I remember my parents getting the blood test for you.
Well,
That was wild. You didn't have to
my eye squirreled. I'm so sorry. Oh, I move on to 23, girl. This is pretty. Oh, this could be trouble. I got a question next.
All right, sounds good. I'll go ahead and take chapter 23. He that is wounded in the stones, or has his privacy member cut off, shall not enter into the assembly of Yahuwah. A bastard shall not enter into the assembly of Yahuwah. Even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the assembly of Yahuwah. And Ammoni or Moavi shall not enter into the assembly of Yahuwah. Even to their 10th generation they shall not enter into the assembly of Yahuwah forever. Because they met you not with bread and with water in the way, when ye came forth out of Mitzrayim, and because they hired against you Balaam the son of Beor and Pethor of Aram Naharaim to curse you. Nevertheless, Yahuwah Elohika would not hearken unto Balaam, but Yahuwah Elohika turned the curse into a blessing unto you, because Yahuwah Elohika loved you. You shall not seek their peace nor their prosperity all your days forever. You shall not abhor an Edomi, for he is your brother. You shall not abhor a Mitzri, because you were a stranger in his land. The children that are begotten of them shall enter into the assembly of Yahuwah in their 3rd generation. When the host goes forth against your enemy, then guard you from every wicked thing. If there be among you any man that is not clean by reason of uncleanness, that chances him by night, then shall he go abroad out of the camp. He shall not come without the camp. But it shall be, when evening comes on, he shall wash himself with water, and when the sun is down, he shall come up and come into the camp again. You shall have a place also without the camp, whether you shall go forth abroad. And you shall have a paddle upon your weapon, and it shall be, when you will ease yourself abroad, you shall dig therewith, and shall turn back and cover that which come from you. For Yahuwah Elohika walks in the midst of your camp to deliver you, and to give up your enemies before you. Therefore shall your camp be holy, that he see no unclean thing in you, and turn away from you. You shall not deliver unto his Adonai the servant which is escaped from his Adonai unto you. He shall dwell with you, even among you in that place which he shall choose in one of your gates, where it likes him best. You shall not oppress him. There shall be no whore of the daughters of Israel, nor a sodomy of the sons of Israel. You shall not bring the hire of a whore, or a piece, or the price of a dog into the house of Yahweh Elohika for any vow. For even both these are abominations unto Yahweh Elohika. You shall not lend upon usury to your brother, usury of money, usury of victuals, usury of anything that is lent upon usury. Unto a stranger you may lend upon usury, but unto your brother you shall not lend upon usury. That Yahweh Elohika may bless you in all that you set your hand to in the land whither you go to possess it. When you shall vow a vow unto Yahweh Elohika, you shall not slack to pay it. For Yahweh Elohika will surely require it of you, and it would be a sin in you. But if you shall forbear to vow, it shall be no sign in you. That which is gone out of your lips you shall guard and perform, even a free will offering, according as you have vowed unto Yahweh Elohika, which you have promised with your mouth. When you come into your neighbor's vineyard, then you may eat grapes your fill at your own pleasure, but you shall not put any in your vessel. When you come into the standing grain of your neighbor, then you may pluck the ears with your hand, but you shall not move a sickle unto your neighbor's standing grain. Ends chapter 23. So your questions?
Well, okay. In this newer writing, 23 starts with, if a man's testicles are crushed or his penis is cut off, he may not be included in the assembly of the Lord. Okay. Well, how unfair is that if it occurred because of an enemy? Dude didn't do nothing. Enemy caught him and whacked his tallywhacker, and now he don't get to. When it says included in the assembly of the Lord, does that mean he just can't work within the tabernacle? Does that mean he don't have a place in heaven? And if a man's testicles are crushed, now I've got to say, it ain't exactly crushing, but I'm wondering about. Well, you know, there seems to be this little procedure that men go through that puts them in a position where they can't spread their seed anymore. Does that mean they're cut off from the assembly of the Lord?
Well, okay, for the first part, we have to remember that there is nothing greater on this earth than Yahweh that is within us. So if we are obeying the commandments and doing as Yahweh says, then first of all, we won't be harmed. So, you know, and you got to think, Noah and, you know, they were all living in the times when there was giants and these fallen angels, which, you know, to give a pretty good thought, you had the Greys, you had what they call the Greys, you had the reptilians, you had giants, you had, you know, half wings, serpent, half human, so on and so forth. So you had all these entities that walked around like normal back then, that'll eventually walk around again. And that's what he says, you know. They went in, Aaron and the priests, they went in and slayed these people, you know, for being evil. So now if you're caught up in a camp that entails evil and you were partaken any way, shape, or form, and now Aaron and the priests come in and you get dismembered. Okay. Yahweh accursed you anyway because you weren't following his way. So now he's given you this infliction. Now see, you're going to have to look and see why this infliction happened. Was this a rapist? Was this a man who took the virginity of his brother's child? Was this a man who sodomized a boy? You know, and now all of a sudden his things are getting dismembered in a kind of a way. So yeah, that was to show that you have angered Yahweh. So when we see that, maybe not so much as judge, but we shouldn't have them within our camps because Yahweh has already judged them. And what exactly did he judge them for? Personally, I don't want to know. I know he's dismembered, and Yahweh allowed it for a reason.
Okay, so like, I'm just going to put it out there. What about men that get vasectomies? Are they in trouble?
Well, from what I'm reading, yeah. And if a woman inflicted it on him and everything, then she's just as much to blame. Yes, Mike, I know. Don't look at me when it comes to your favor. It's in his favor because he's had one. And yes, I'm just as much to blame for him getting that with the rest. But anyways, yeah, basically it's the infliction again is from not following his ways. You know, so maybe, you know, when I'm standing to account for it, maybe, just maybe, Yahweh will see fit, you know, of the reasons why I encouraged it to happen. Maybe he will see fit that, you know, that it's justified. And that would leave Mike to atone for his own accountants of how it led up to that kind of a notion. If that makes sense.
Okie dokie. Well, like I say, learn something every time we open this book, right?
Oh, yes.
And it seems as though if you're wandering about and you're a little hungry, it's okay to share your neighbor's produce. You know, help yourself as long as you just staving off your worst hunger. Is that what I'm picking up here?
Yes, ma'am. Get enough to pass you through, so to say. Don't sit there and linger and eat until your belly's full and you're all fat and happy and all that. Yeah, just enough, you know, just like take an apple to get you through to the next point, you know. Don't take any with you. Just grab a apple and start eating it. And by the time you get done with it, if you're still hungry and everything, then Yahweh will continue to provide. We can certainly see where that hinders people in today's times because, look at how many fruit trees that has been cut down, how many wheat fields were destroyed, so that way people can't sojourn. We have to stay in a home or we're considered homeless, and that's that. There are no sojourners who walk across no more being a nomad. Government.
Well, yeah, nobody. They certainly through the ages done a good job of stigmatizing anyone with a wandering soul. Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, you can clearly see where they stopped all that, so now what you have to go to government entities. Any way for you to, go to them and not Yahweh.
All right, then. I'll pick up chapter 24. Suppose a man marries a woman, but later discovers something about her that is